This from Umbrella Guy.
Hey, we love that umbrella guy. All right. Thank you. Thank you.
One thing to rule them all, one thing to bind them. Platinum grill lifestyle, you know where to find him.
This ain't a battle, baby, it's a walk-by. Showering verbal rounds on those tiny clowns and laughing as they cry. I'm no longer taking what they're giving, cause they'll leave press on life, baby, that just ain't worth living. We aren't gaining, we're at war, with points of order worth fighting for. Gaining inches in this battle of attrition, as case by case we pass the ammunition. Hope that umbrella guy back with this communion. Mic check, mic wreck, it's audible reunion. Syllable call-outs wrapped up in this song. Nuclear fallout after dropping this mic bomb. We're not snatching chains, baby, now we're snatching souls. They crossed this verbal bridge, now they're paying my tolls. The media's flatline, there's no more resolutions. No forgive and forget, this pope ain't granting absolution. It's that umbrella guy pointing at the wrecked, laughing in their face as they keep demanding we respect. Our so-called social betters erasing all your gains. Listen and believe, wants to keep us in chains. It's that umbrella guy, declaring war on all the haters, dropping meteors on those dinosaurs, and bombing all the craters. A life in chains isn't worth living, and hope that umbrella guy ain't about forgetting about you who wanted the race, the deception and the lies, the wolves in disguise. Now you're back to the drive-thru, but you already knew that like your mic skills, your time was limited. Now you're bankrupt, screeching is prohibited. So can I get that combo meal with a side of verbal fry? Cause tonight, baby, we're blasting the mic with the iced out walk by. Supersize in the rage from this platinum grill, feasting on our anger, nah, this ain't a happy meal. Yeah, tonight's forecast isn't rain clouds, it's the rain of hope. Umbrella guy, the first mic wrecking away the remnants of the worst. What's happening? This ain't a mystery. We're relegating you to the dustbin of history. And you're done, and I'm out. I'm dustbin of history. And you're done, and I'm out. And I'm out.
Hey there. What's up, folks? How's it going, man? What a crazy last few days it has been. Oh, man. I'm having to reboot everything. I noticed, like, a couple of things. I got to make sure my voice mod here is correct, too, while we're talking. I'm making sure, everything's right. Man, if you did not see the insanity over the last few days, holy crap. We had storms here. Storms that... Yeah, let's put it this way. My kids have had a trampoline for 4 years. All right, 4 freaking years. This is it. When the storms ended that day, I thought, what is that weird tent sitting across the lawn? Oh, that's not a tent. That's a trampoline that has been folded around a tree that it broke the legs on and everything else. Yeah, fun times, man. But it hit pretty good here. We actually developed a house leak. Check this out. Let me show you this crazy stuff. So here's I had to wake my daughter up. We could actually get here. Let me show you this. So we ended up with a leak. Look at all this. This is just water. You can see we've been cleaning it up, but there was a leak higher up in the picture. You can't see it up above, and we were catching water with it, and it got so bad that we were pulling out 6 gallons of water every 8 to 11 minutes and having to dump them outside, which, oh my God. I was like, my God, we must have moved 160 gallons of water at least, you know? Oh, but anyway, the storms did quite a bit of damage. They uprooted trees. You know, if you were listening the other day when this stuff hit, ooh, man, check this out. Show this one too. It literally uprooted trees. This tree is 42 feet from my house, by the way. 42 feet from the back door. So we got lucky, you know, very lucky in it. But man, look at that. That's crazy. It didn't take it. And what's crazy is the trampoline is directly across from this. So if you go in a straight line across the yard, the trampoline is directly. So it was, you know, the straight line winds. Yeah. Well, I mean, it was bad enough. We were out without power for 20 freaking something hours, but it did a lot of damage. So anyway, if you enjoy this podcast, whatever this thing is, consider backing it. You know, we got a lot of stuff. You know, usually I don't complain about things. I don't ask for any support or help that way. I mean, I do say, hey, if you want to support, but yeah, we had a few $1,000 in costs so far, so it's not very fun. It's not been a good last few days, I'm gonna say. Oh, I destroyed a lot of stuff in our garages and everything else. I mean, it's been wild. And then to top this off, so you wanna get the icing on the proverbial cake. Check this out. I'm gonna dox my toe here. Check this stupidity out. So the other night when we were moving, check that out. Oh, I broke that little fucker twice. So the other night when we were moving water, you know, we're having to do it with no power. So we're doing this. My daughter, I have her, our phones, you know, they're charging on a backup charger, and we're doing it by tablet light. And I ended up breaking a freaking toe because it's just so dark and slick. I was like, damn it. So anyway, we get out, taking care of some tree limbs and all that, break that little, it was broken again. I was like, that's lovely. So I'd untape it from the other one to check it out to see if it was broke again. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Twice broken. Hey, when it rains, right? That's not complaining. It's just like, oh, man. By the way, let me give everybody a shout out. Rock and Ruin, thank you for the 5 gift memberships. How you doing, by the way? Oh, yeah. I did accomplish one thing, though, and it has been slow. I can't talk about other things that have been going on lately, but there's been a lot of shit. But finally, something that's very late, comics printing. So it is in print. It's printing to go out to people. So it'll print, ship to the distributor, and the distributor will start distributing it right away. So boom, done, finally. What's up, Bully Mom? Thanks for the 6 pounds super sticker. I saw the super sticker flow through. Thank you, too. Rock and Ruin, thank you for the gifted, I'm sorry, my brain. Thank you, welcome. Thank you for the membership. Welcome to Tugs Thugs. I think of you like, you've been here forever, so it's hard for me not to think of you as a member. So I appreciate you there. Lady Tammy, thanks for the 20 there to help with the damages. Thank you. Appreciate that. Diane, thank you. Welcome. Thank you for the membership. Welcome to Tugs Thugs too. Appreciate you. Fallen Hero also, thank you for the gifted membership. Thank you there. Appreciate that. K-Rap, thanks for the 5 there. So you have another way to receive breadstick money other than Super Chat. So YouTube doesn't, you can send them through PayPal, I guess. That's pretty much, there's a link in the description if you would like to send that way. I mean, that is a good point. So you could do that too, you know? What's up, Dark? Thanks for the 5. As long as you and your family are safe and sound, you can rebuild with the chat's help. That's true too. You know, I don't mean to complain or anything like that either. I mean, the kids were terrified of it. It's bad. I mean, I've seen bad storms, you know? I lived out in Oklahoma in Tornado Alley, but I have never seen a storm where you have, like, the amount of rain that thing dumped alone was just insane. And then on top of it, we had tornado touchdowns. And to tell you how bad it was, out on our main roads, on the highways here, we were out power for about a 24-hour time period. And we were driving, I told the kids, I was like, we're going to have to find somewhere. No one else had power either. So we were looking for a place that we had some food, but the kids were like, oh, if I have to eat another peanut butter and jelly or something, Dad, I'm going to go crazy. So it's like, okay. So it drove out just to see what the damage was like. And one area alone was missing. The power company had telephone poles lined up where they were putting them, not telephone pole, but you know what I'm talking about, power poles. And they had one they were putting in the ground, and they had 5 others just lined up. They were restringing that many. I mean, it did insane amounts of damage. There were damaged houses, flooding around. I mean, it's bad. We got, like, if we wouldn't have been here, I broadcast from an area that is converted out of a basement. You have a room here. If we wouldn't have been here, it would have flooded not just our garage and everything, which we ended up, like I said, with damage in the garage, but it had flooded everything. It had knocked out computers and everything else. So it could have been much worse. Much, much worse. So you're right. Megan, thanks for the 20 trampoline money. Shows your pregnant toe. I know, man. I was thinking in order to recoup some money, I was thinking like maybe I should start only toes. What do you think about that? I mean, when you look at that, isn't that sexy? Only toes, baby. My daughter, like, she likes to burn on, and she's like, I've never seen a piggy so fat that doesn't have money in it. Talking about a piggy bank. Talking about my toe. I thought that was pretty funny. Only toes. Tess, thanks for the 20 there. No statement, but plenty of statement. Thank you. I appreciate you. I'm gonna read these. Then we'll have a stream too, of course. T for 2. Thanks for the 10 there. For tape for your toe, indeed. I know, man. It was so sad. I had to throw the tape off to see if it was broken again. My daughter's like, you gotta go to the doctor. I was like, they don't do anything for your toes, baby. Unless you break your big toe. You break your big toe, you gotta go. But I was like, man, I've broken my toes enough. I've learned, just tape that sucker to the other one. You're good to go. Unless even if it's all wonky or anything else, just kind of push it back into place. You'll be good to go later. It may look like a warped noodle later on, but hey. Oh, Liz, what's up, Liz? Thank you for this 69. Thank you, appreciate that. Ouch, Tug. So sorry. I hope this helps. It does. Like I said, I appreciate y'all. I hate to even say stuff like that. I don't. I was just like, Lord, man. I've been fortunate with YouTube. To better my kids' lives and stuff. I work 2 jobs. I work this, and I work a day job. And it goes. I was like, man, my daughter was also, like I said, she makes fun and stuff. But I was like, man, this sucks. And she was like, your birthday's next week, isn't it? She was like, think of it as a really bad birthday present. I was like, oh my God. Thanks, kiddo. Bernice, thanks for the 21s. Hey, Tug, hope all is well. Thanks for everything you do. You appreciate it. Thank you. I appreciate it. I do. I appreciate you folks. But, again, it's crazy in today's world, like, when I first started YouTubing, it was, and we're not talking about like crazy lifestyle or anything. It's just like, you go to the grocery store now. I went to the grocery store the other day. I had to stop by the dollar store, and I was picking up a 6-pack of Cokes. I don't keep many vices left, but I was like, yeah, I got to go to the grocery store because they're $8 here for 6, but they're like 5 unless you buy them on disc. My God, man. People are like, well, eat beans and rice. I'm like, man, people work 2 jobs now. Come on, man. You shouldn't have to eat beans on 2 jobs. Not to mention your house. Ugh. Elsie, thanks for the 20 there. Storm cleanup. Indeed. Thank you. Thank you. Kangs. What's up, Kangs? Thanks for 20 there. I see what you did. All this talk about twins, and you had to go hung and break it twice to break that toe, right? Yeah. Twins it is. That is a twin-spiracy, isn't it? Diana, thanks for the 10 there. Just some tape on that toe. Indeed, indeed. You do tape them up, by the way. You do. I'm going to read half of them, and then I'm going to go. I don't want to like do a whole reading thing, but like I said, if you want to back the channel or do something again, it's very much appreciated. I know it's such a weird ask in any way. Let's see. Now, over the last few days, one of those days I actually I lost power in, so we cut off in the middle of a live stream. But over the last few days, I've seen some pretty interesting stuff going out of the Laura camp. Now, one of those items, I thought like stuff like this is interesting. Just commentary, and then we're going to get into the more pointed commentary, right? But I saw this, and I thought this is very fascinating to see. Our good buddy Gringus talking about. And he responds. He's like, here's the initial comment. My good buddy is an employment lawyer. I once asked him how many claims are flat out extortion. He said 90%. So he's talking about claims. And it's like, well, it's not just employment claims. I'm a lawyer licensed in California, Arizona for 20 years. I confirm 90% of all cases are bullshit. This guy running this case that we're talking about that's bullshit is telling us that 90% of cases are bullshit. Huh. Hits a little close to home, don't you think? I thought that was fascinating. I also thought it was fascinating, and we're going to talk about how some of this comes together. The last thing that we live streamed was David Gingras putting up a post that contained the picture of someone that, well, let's just say they've had Laura problems in the past. Now, it's fascinating because that post ended up getting pulled. And after that gets pulled, his website goes down for problems. Now, it did come back up, but it was updates or whatever the shit he said about it. But also, this post, people are laughing about it, and he's like, I removed the tweet because I got an email from one of the parties, which we're going to look at. You can guess which, who was not too happy about the tweet. I didn't intend to offend anyone, so I pulled it. Chill out and stop being childish. Being nice isn't dirty. And it's like, you know, this dude is going out of his way to do things that are pretty nasty when you think about it. And on top of that, he didn't want these people being able to have their voice as far as Laura Owens is concerned. He wanted to deny them their voice in a courtroom. And yet, he keeps introducing all of this stuff where it can pop up and whatever into anything. So I find that really fascinating. He also brought up something else, which I thought this was really interesting too. 1 second. Got to flip over to this. Takes me a second here to flip them over. Here's the other deleted. There's a bunch of these like this, but I'm only focusing on 2 before documents. You're well aware of what you're doing. You're Mr. Internet Lawyer. You know as well as all of us that as soon as you're no longer serving a purpose, report you to the bar like she has with several lawyers. This worth your career? And Gingras is like, I'm not concerned with that. Dave Neal already complained to the bar about me. Huh. Not concerned about that either, since I'm strictly following all the rules. Sorry if you don't agree. Yeah, if this is following all the rules, if calling people cockroaches and, you know, talking about how you're gonna make them destitute, calling them pawns. I mean, just all this shit. If that's just typical behavior, threatening, the opposing counsel, threatening the other party in litigation, if that's typical, what does that say really about the bar? It says the bar is set really low, right? But then it's like, are you sure it was Dave? Someone else said they did it? He's like, the bar sent me a complaint that had Dave Neal's name and email on it. I assume that's reliable info, but you never really know. Huh. So regardless, a lot of people have seen what's there. And David has been put on alert that a lot of the stuff he's doing, if it's above board, why is he deleting it? Why does he keep removing items? Like, that's a question that just keeps coming up to me over and over again. I mean, if you feel so confident in your stance, why would you remove anything at all? Now, he talked about a letter that he received. And this letter has been a fascinating one. I'm going to just call him on the mic. Mike Maricini, but I'm going to call him Mike or on the mic. Again, I have a terrible habit of butchering names, even if I know them. So check this out. Mr. Gingras, Greg Woodnick reached out to me and gave me your contact number because you have expressed a desire to speak to me. I wanted you to know that I was about to call you and tell you about my harrowing experience. Now, you notice the descriptors in this, You have things like, I was about to reach out and tell you about how horrible this stuff actually was. All of the messed up things that you probably don't want introduced to the court, by the way. But his actions open up the window for. That's probably what Gingras is starting to understand. Like he does this stuff that he thinks is, I guess, PR. I guess. Maybe intimidation tactic, I guess. I'm not really sure sometimes anymore. I feel like it's just do as much damage on your way out as you possibly can. The only problem is it's damaging to you in the courtroom too. So anyway, the harrowing experience with Laura Owens and all the lies she told, including, but not limited to, lying about being pregnant with twins, telling me she had cancer, threatening suicide, and emotionally terrorizing me to coerce me into a relationship with her. Now, we've seen the proof of stuff like this. I mean, we've seen the text messages that have come up, the coercion. Again, there's a difference in SI or suicidal ideation. I'm going to call it SI from now on. Okay, there's a big difference in actually feeling that way and using it as a coercive tool, a manipulative tool. When somebody goes through this, you have to realize that the person that has all of this pointed at them, we would call them, if Mike here wasn't a man, he would be known by another name. That name would be Survivor. That's what he would be called. He would be called that by the media. He would be called that by so many other people out there. But instead, with this weird narrative, you have a loud, focused group of people, but with the type of story it is, it stays contained. I think that's the reason why it hasn't gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. Because again, it admits to a truth that a lot of these folks do not want to admit to. That people like this exist. They lie. And they're the ones that do the real damage. They talk about, they use political slams. They'll call every one of you, no matter how you stand, they'll call you right-wingers, they'll call you Yahtzees, they'll call you all kinds of stuff. But the reality is, the thing that's damaging are the people that do this stuff. And it's not you all that talk about this. It's the person that did all of this stuff. But anyway. But before I could pick up the phone, he notes, I saw that you tweeted out a photograph of me and Laura and audio from a radio show we did together from a traumatic time in my life. I cannot express to you how inappropriate and offensive that action was. Now, you know, the crazy thing about that, too, he's counsel for Laura Owens. We're not debating whether or not some random jackass on Twitter did something, you know, or some random jackass YouTuber. I will include myself in that. It did something. I mean, you can dislike or like, but, you know, you're just people out there talking about something. That's not it. This is the counsel for Laura Owens. This is essentially Laura Owens doing these things. So for Laura Owens to go out and tweet this, that is beyond inappropriate. And that's why it goes down. He's pointing out, he's like, what the heck? You know, that's from a terrible time in my life. And if you go in, and again, you read her words about what happened within these relationships, it's crazy. Like, again, I feel bad for this dude. You accused me of fabricating evidence and lying, which led me to take my laptop directly to an expert for analysis. Now, that was a big one, too. His statements actually led to something happening in court. Or to something that's happening, we'll say, around the court. You know, that eventually leads into courtroom action. That's where this stuff is going to end up. All of the stuff that she does will end up in filings. Because they keep bringing up people. They keep talking about these folks. They keep introducing items that wouldn't be there otherwise. And as they take this approach, again, they ended up going to an expert to prove the authenticity of items. Because look at how many people have been accused of fabricating evidence and lying about Owens. He's like, nah, look, I've got the device here. You know, you can check it out itself. I thought that was actually a good move. That was an interesting move. And again, her counsel makes this stuff happen. Yep, you're all Yahtzees. That's right. That's right. Anil, you're all Yahtzees. Yes. It is fascinating. You know, that is such a, there are certain things out there, you know, again, I say them to be YouTube appropriate this way, but we'll say PDF files, Yahtzees, those kind of things. Yeah, they're the worst of the worst. And we don't need those terms watered down. So when these people go out there and they call people all this crap, those are terms you should never water down. It gets on my nerves. Anyway. So I moved on with my life and had no interest in opening up old wounds that have so injured me. But you, notice there, you, Mr. Gingras, made it impossible for me to sit quietly. So again, the stuff that's coming up, I mean, he's the one causing this. You posted my deposition online to accuse me of lying and humiliated me purposefully. And we read through that, by the way. Now, there's a little bit of it that we still need to finish. This week, we were going to finish that this week, but it's been a crazy week, I would say. It's been a crazy week for myself, crazy week for man. I mean, everybody's had just a wild one, like an out of control one. So we didn't get to finish all that. But what we did finish, you noticed right off the bat that the thing that Gingras was doing with that, the thing he was going, ha ha, look, he says, you know, he says X. Well, yeah, that's not what happened. it really did look like it's either a case, or it could be a case of multiple things. It could be either be a case of Gingrich doesn't read anything that he posts, which is quite possible, or it looks deliberate. And I think it's both, personally. Some of the shit that he posts, it's wild to me. You know, it's like he never looks over what he's posting. But outside of that, too, this looks very deliberate, like it's meant to be harmful. I deeply resent the allegations, which is why I decided to turn over my laptop as evidence in the Clayton Echard case against Laura. We both know that she sent those doctored medical records to me, and now you have proof. I cannot in good conscience remain quiet and watch Laura use the same playbook against another innocent man. And bravo, by the way, because it's difficult to do. I mean, just to be honest about this, it's very difficult to rehash these places in life where you didn't just face off against something ugly, negative, tragic, but the so-called justice system, I feel it did him very dirty. I mean, again, you can make up your own mind on that, but looking at her own statements, they read as her telling you that the system was weaponized. It's craziness. I've decided that I will not speak with you on the phone. So he's changed his mind. He was like, you know, I was going to contact you. I was going to actually do that because I got your number from Greg Woodnick. But look at what you're trying to do here. And I mean, I agree, you know, lawyers do some shady shit, but most lawyers will not do this outside of the courtroom. This is the kind of stuff that, again, I'm not saying that Laura Owens has a snowball's chance in hell anyway before Gingrich came in, but Gingrich has done nothing, in my opinion, but damage. I mean, again, he came in, he threatens, he really reinvigorates Clayton Echard's lawyer. In my opinion, if you read through the filings, he was already a motivated man because of things that had happened in the past, but I feel like he reinvigorated him. Because, you know, if somebody's threatening you over and over again, yeah, same thing with Clayton Echard. Clayton Echard understands the weight of this because they're telling you over and over, oh, we're going to sue everybody. We're going to make your life hell. Okay, well, if they're going to do that, then that motivates everyone. It's motivated, like Dave Neal, for example. Dave Neal went from talking about, by the way, congratulations to him and to his wife. You know, that's, I got to say that briefly the other day, and then again, storms hit us, so I didn't really even get to throw that out there. But congratulations to them. Luckily, too, they're on, as far as Tennessee was hit, they weren't in the really bad areas that were hit around, you know, comparatively. Usually we're not in the bad areas, but I mean, you know, again, everybody's safe. That's the big deal. But I wouldn't there's a lot of stress that goes on with that time. You know, there's a lot of emotion, a lot of stress. It's going to be a lot of sleepless days anyway. And whew, I mean, I'm glad for them. Again, though. Give me 1 second. I will speak in court of law on June 10th, under oath, and I will tell the truth about the horrors that Laura visited on my life. You may ask me any question you want, and I will answer with the whole truth. You do not understand or willfully refuse to accept how traumatizing my interaction with Laura Owens has been. She has destroyed my reputation and ruined my background checks by taking out a fraudulent order of protection against me based on lies that have affected me personally and professionally. She accused me of horrific acts, I'm going to say of DV, that never happened. She fabricated medical evidence and held threats of SI over my head. You know what I'm talking about when I say that. I'm adding a term, but still. My head, keep me locked in a relationship that was toxic and deeply disturbing. Yeah, and you know, it puts you can see that in the text messages and in the deposition too. He's being told if you don't stay in this relationship, you got to save her life. You got to save her life in any way possible. So it locks him into something that's poisonous. And you know, this is the problem with a lot of people out there. This type of person. They lock you in a relationship like that. And you do everything you can to try to make that better for a person. And what do? They try to ruin you on the back end of it. It's unfortunate, but it continues the victimization. Because that's what they do. They can't ever look at themselves in the mirror and be like, yeah, this is my fault. I did this. And just, you know, do the right thing. No, never. I mean, this guy here, he didn't try to sue or get orders. He basically tried to walk away. I mean, he himself in his deposition, which, again, Laura's lawyer shared, so I guess he's telling me that's the gospel, take it as it is. Because again, he's sharing it for us. We hear about blocking her, walking away. You know, we hear this tale of people trying to not respond to her, not be part of any discussions with her. And yet, they end up ultimately on the receiving end of, if they won't have a relationship, then. And that is, like I said, it's a poison that you see made manifest over and over. Yes, indeed. Open-minded said a hostage. And that's a thing. People understand now. There's a new layer. Like years ago, people would understand somebody might ruin you, but then we saw the wave of very public false accusations. We've seen them for what they are now, you know, and that's always been a retaliatory strike for some of these folks. Again, oh, you won't be in a relationship? Well, then, I'm going to ruin you. So it's amazing to me that you have all this spelled out. Gingrich shares it. It's horrible. Again, person tries to walk away. But before the walking away, they tried to do the right thing. They tried to help somebody. Like I said, people like this, they never see or appreciate anything. You can't do positives for them. But perhaps the worst thing you have done is to suggest that I should talk to Laura. That's horrible, by the way. The woman who attempted to, in many ways, did destroy me. Again, you know, you think about, without Clayton Echard, where would his story be? His story would be, he's this TED Talk. He's this thing that is brought up over and over again. He's the trip to Iceland. He's the note on the airplane. He's the guy that somehow in the bedroom, again, when they're doing kinky action, somehow that has become the only quote unquote proof of DV. Everything else she brings up, she brought up what? Afterwards. Stalking again, you know, after somebody calls the cops about that. It's so wild and bizarre. And it shows you too, the weight that's given to someone like him versus, again, you got somebody that you've blocked out of your life, you've walked away from after they've done these horrible things, and what happens? Police do nothing for you. So where would he be? He'd be in these are people, unfortunately, without a magnifying glass put on these lives. See, I worry that some of the folks in that, I mean, if you look, and still I worry about them because they had their lives ruined. But anyway, the same woman who continues to renew the false order of protection against me and pretends to be terrified I'll be in the same courtroom as she. Why would someone so afraid of me want to speak to me and violate the order she insists she needs? Yeah, it would have put him in a bad place, wouldn't it? Oh, you spoke to her. Oh, you violated your order. But hey, Daddy Gingras is right here. I'll save you if you be quiet. I wonder how that would have played, David. I wonder what you guys would have used that for. You know, oh, you violated. Yeah, we brought you to the table, but oh, we didn't really mean that. It'd just be something else. Oh, Clayton, look what Clayton caused. You know, again, you could see how this would be spun. This, just a day after you threatened to have me arrested if I showed up at the courtroom to be a witness. Huh. If that's not witness intimidation, what is? You tell me, what actually counts as witness intimidation? If I start threatening witnesses, how is that not witness intimidation? You know, Bueller. I mean, and you know, you've had this multiple times. You've had people that, again, you know, Dave Neal is involved in litigation. He's been involved in litigation with her. He's covering this. He's not making contact, but her lawyer is. Her lawyer is reaching out, making contact with Dave Neal and making threats in the name of Laura Owens. That's pretty fucked up when you really think about it. I mean, they're threatening, again, to ruin this guy's life, to make him homeless. It's just nuts. The fact that you would suggest such an inappropriate call between me and my abuser proves to me you have no idea how inappropriate it would be to speak to the woman who fabricated wild tales about me and turned them into a TEDx talk and an entry into chicken soup of the soul that will live on forever. And that's true. That's true too. It will. It'll live on forever. His name will always be associated. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's corrected, to be honest. It still will take a lifetime to try to correct that initial lie. Ultimately, that's the poison of it. This letter, which has been painful for me to write, has addressed everything you want to speak to me about by phone. All the best. Mic drop. Now, we actually had a follow-up for that too. Also, by the way, I'm pulling this up through at Clayton's Justice, so props to them for posting it so I could actually put this up here. You know, it's their format actually worked very well for the way we're looking at this. So here's the response that is given. Mike, please call me David. Oh, after all the threats and shit, oh, please call me David. Just an FYI, there's an ethical rule for lawyers that says I'm not allowed to communicate about a case directly with a quote-unquote represented party, meaning a person who is currently represented by a lawyer, unless I have consent from that person's lawyer. That limit only applies to discussions about the matter in which the person is represented. So, for example, if you were represented by a lawyer in a lawsuit involving a car accident, if I was the opposing lawyer, I could not speak directly with you about the car accident without your lawyer's permission. But I could still talk to you about something else. Sports, the weather, politics, etc. I know it's a weird rule, but it's something I take seriously. Man, that line is such garbage, by the way. He uses that over and over again. Oh, I take this very seriously. In this situation, it's not clear to me whether anyone represents you with respect to Laura's case. I know Randy Sue Pollock previously represented you with respect to the California Order of Protection stuff, which is all resolved now. Is it really, David? Is it all really resolved, do you think? Do you think that you going out and making an utter travesty of this case and potentially allowing Clayton Echard to prove that she has gone out and filed a false order, do you think that's not going to send huge shockwaves through it? Do you think that might not be grounds? Do you think he doesn't have grounds to say, nah, this matter ain't resolved? Do you think that you, again, as her voice, doing all this stuff, you don't think so? Huh. You got to know you fucked up. You've got to know. You've got to know. He's got to. To my knowledge, she does not represent you with respect to the Arizona case involving Laura and Clayton. I don't think Greg Woodnick is representing you with respect to Laura's case. He has never claimed to be acting as your lawyer. So at this point, I think you are technically not represented with respect to Laura's case, but I am not 100% clear on this. It's entirely possible for a lawyer to represent you with respect to one thing, but not with respect to something else. So, to err on the side of caution, I need to make sure if you are represented by anyone with respect to the Arizona case, I have permission from your lawyer to talk to you about the Arizona trial. Bear in mind, I understand you don't want to talk at this point. If you're not represented, that's fine. I just need to know. I am only mentioning this so you don't think I was ignoring your comments. I do want to respond. I do want to encourage you to change your mind about talking to me. I promise it's not a big deal. Man, don't talk to this mofo. Like anybody. Don't talk to him because potentially you need a lawyer present. Because all he's trying to do is find anything. Even if it's not something that could be there. You'd be like, I know about Laura's innocence and it doesn't exist. He'd be like, Laura's innocent? Yeah, there it is, baby. You know. I mean, really. Just I want to make sure you're represented by anyone, P.S. I removed the tweet from yesterday, and I'm happy to remove anything else if you ask. Oh, you just have to ask me, David. Just come. I'm like a genie. I'm a genie in a bottle, baby. You can rub me the right way. You can rub my tramp stamp the right way. It's so messed up, though. I mean, really. And yes, he went out of his way to do nasty, nasty stuff. Now, Woodnick has interestingly enough responded in, let me blow this up here, one item, which I really wanted to bring up today, including exhibits. So let's check this out together. This is going to be fun if you haven't seen this, by the way. Even if you have, it should still be fun. This is a response or objection to petitioner's motion of limine. So, this is, of course, Clayton Echard responding. This is filed on the 30th. You know, again, it takes time for everything to come up. So if you're like, oh, it's been a moment. And there's been a lot of stuff that's popped up along the way. So Laura has already filed the following. To hinder the otherwise prevent a fair, equitable, and transparent resolution on the merits of this case, she's filed a motion to dismiss. Denied. Motion to quash deposition of petitioner. Denied. Motion for confidentiality and preliminary protective order. Denied. Motion for extension of time to respond to respondent's motion to compel. Denied. Motion for lunch. denied. She now seeks to preclude the testimony of 3 prior victims/witnesses she testified about at her deposition. Names she's brought up. She brings them up in things. That's very important to note, by the way. She opens the door for them. One of whom she requested this court take judicial notice about, and 2 of whom she suggested have somehow tampered with her records relevant to her fraud on this case spanning 8 years. That's, woo, that's pretty hot already, and we got a lot of pages to go. Now, Rule 404B does not prohibit testimony about Laura's related pregnancy schemes. Instead, the rule expressly permits the anticipated testimony to quote-unquote prove of motive, opportunity, intent, preparation, plan, knowledge, or absence of mistake or accident. Now, as far as for this response or objection, Clayton states the following. Rule 404B2 expressly permits the testimony of 3 prior victims or witnesses. Contrary to Laura's assertions, let me see something real quick. Oh, there it is. I was looking for the footnote. I wanted to make sure I hit the footnote. Contrary to her assertions, evidence of quote-unquote other wrongs is expressly permitted for special circumstance under Rule 404B2, and every permitted reason for the testimony applies here. And this is the footnote. Suggesting this case has any analog to the Harvey Weinstein trial. Can you imagine, by the way, he brought up Harvey freaking Weinstein. I mean, that's wild, isn't it? In New York is yet another folly and overt attempt to distract from Laura's egregious conduct and behave here in the instant case. That was a criminal SA jury trial in another state. This is Arizona Title 25 paternity matter with different rules, and where there's no risk of confusing the jury because the court serves as the trier of fact. So, to be clear, that's after the footnote, Rule 404 only prohibits evidence of other acts being used to prove the character of a person to show acts in conformity therewith. Clayton will produce copious direct evidence of her actions, statements, etc., and does not need to fill some factual void with propensity evidence. My bad. For some reason, I wanted to butcher that word. The testimony of the witness Laura seeks to exclude will show motive, opportunity, intent, preparation, plan, knowledge, and absence of mistake. It will also be used to rebut anticipated testimony from Laura herself about her truthfulness and credibility. As contemplated in, you get your rule there. I.e., if Laura testifies that she sincerely believes she was pregnant by Clayton and feigns ignorance, my bad, did I say fakes? Oh, those damn typo, man, that's my southern, sorry about that, feigns ignorance about the numerous problems with the curated information she gave to the expert about her alleged pregnancy. The testimony of these witnesses will be entirely admissible and extremely probative. Each witness listed, like Clayton, is anticipated to testify to their experiences of what they believe to be fabricated pregnancy claims by Laura Owens that arose from her efforts to coerce them to commit to a relationship with her. See, that's a big problem for Laura. If there weren't the other items that came up with this, you know, the items that say, hey, she tries to lock them into relationships. Ooh, man, you know. Laura B., is it your birthday? Happy birthday, by the way. I just noticed somebody say that. Happy birthday. I appreciate the heck out of you. I just want to say, I really appreciate you. Give Laura B. love there. Even if it's not your birthday, you deserve some love. They're anticipated to testify about her alleged motive, which includes her alleged preparation and knowledge of fake medical records, and repeated threats to self-harm if these men did not agree to stay with her if she aborted, miscarried the alleged fetuses. With Clayton, these harassing behaviors were already previewed before Judge Galacticus. Galacticus. I said that the other night. Who issued and affirmed an injunction against harassment against Owens following over 500 texts and emails that served no legitimate purpose. With witness Greg Gillespie, this court already took judicial notice, per Laura's request, of the lawsuit Laura filed against him, alleging he got her pregnant with twins, which she now denies, by the way. And then, when it was clear he was not interested in her, she got an OOP, or an order of protection. If we kind of run across that, I'll say OOP, but that's... Somebody asked me the other night, and I thought it was a good question. What is OOP? So, my bad, going through and not putting that in there. Order of protection against, and... later sued him civilly. With the other two witnesses, they are expected to testify to their beliefs that they had similar relationship demands with alleged pregnancy claims, and Laura similarly feigned miscarriage and abortions, and that Laura fabricated medical evidence to support her pregnancy ruse out of California. If the entire case seems extraordinary to the court, it is. And that is probably the understatement of the century right there. This is an insane case. This is a documentary right here, for sure. That is the exact reason why these witnesses need to testify and can do so with 404b2. This is not about the improper character evidence. It is about showing Laura Owens had the motive, intent, knowledge, etc. necessary to fabricate pregnancies as expressly allowed under rules of evidence. Now, the reasons why they get to testify. Laura's motive with the witnesses was to create pregnancy narratives and later, quote-unquote, terminations, abortions, miscarriages, cancers, etc. In effort to secure relationships after being rejected, Laura had the opportunity and intent to fabricate medical records to support her fictitious pregnancy and later pregnancy termination. In this case, she admitted to tampering with an evidence already used in court proceedings, but the anticipated testimony will show this is not the first record she has tampered with. Laura prepared and plans to effectuate her pregnancy narratives, including notifying her victims days after a sexual encounter. There's a 2, even here, where Clayton claims there was not intercourse, by the way. To plant the seed that she may be pregnant by allegedly creating medical records and photos to support her story. With the plan and preparation also including pirating sonograms, wow, and correspondence from providers reusing the twins allegory, which she appears to have originated with witness Mike, the mic drop. Laura has knowledge that she was and is not pregnant, as her fabrication of records would not be necessary if she had actual medical documentation. She only provides positive HCG tests. And again, they note that's not a proof of pregnancy. As they explored at trial, a pregnancy must be verified by ultrasound, which Laura does not have because the one ultrasound she will admit to was falsely, per her deposition, attributed to Smile. And we went over that live, by the way. It had been confirmed to not have originated at any of Planned Parenthoods Laura claimed that she went to, so that was the footnote on that one here. Laura also had knowledge that the medical records she submitted in the court proceedings and provides to her victims are not authentic. That's big time, by the way. I think I got a kiddo coming. Give me a second. Hey, what you doing? Hey, kiddo.
My clothes is not bleeding blood.
What you doing? Come here.
Coming.
Come here.
I'm coming.
Okay. I heard her coming. Give me 1 second here. I saw she's playing with a Sonic plushie, and the Sonic plushie came flying down the steps.
Hey, it's Tails, Knuckles, and Sonic.
2 Knuckles and Sonic?
And
And tails, too?
Ask
Man.
ask
Let me turn my chair. I can't turn it that way. I'm about to break the back of it. It's like, ah. Come here.
Can ask Sonic Knuckles and Tails.
Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails. I don't know. Give me 5. That's cool. You like Sonic?
Yeah, we're not bleeding blood. See?
Oh, yeah, where you scratched your leg? Yeah. We got it good and taken care of, didn't we? Good job.
But when you put water on your finger, it hurts on my bruise.
Okay. Well, hey, go
I'm
play
hungry.
go play for a little bit.
I'm hungry.
We'll get some more food out. We ate just a little while ago. Yeah, we'll get some more food out in just a minute, okay?
I'm just swinging my leg.
We'll go grab some. Hey, you want to go grab a pudding or a yogurt or Jello, and I'll open it for you.
Jello.
We'll go grab something, and grab a spoon, and I'll open it for you, okay?
I don't want to. Are you going to come with me or not?
No, just grab it real quick and bring it to me, and I'll open it for you, okay? Yeah, she scratched her leg while she was helping out cleaning up, right? You were cleaning up everything upstairs and everything else, right? Yep. Yeah, give me a thumbs up. Exactly. Yeah, she got a, and she's like, oh. And you clean it off. It's so horrible. So horrible.
It hurt when you put the finger on the water.
I know. It was terrible. I know. She's like, it hurts when you clean it off. Oh, gosh.
Water on your finger.
Yeah, that's what happened. Like, we couldn't see anything the other day. She was trying to help, too. And like I said, we were running around in the dark. You know, I was trying to keep everybody contained because, man, that storm was bad. You know, keeping them all in one area to be safe. But let's see. So, not authentic. She'll be back in a minute, too. So, notably, Clayton would never have known the ultrasound Laura sent to him was modified if Laura had not been ordered to attend her deposition or cooperate with a HIPAA release. So again, she put in something, and Clayton, he might have not ever known the truth. It's just bad, big time. There's the absence of mistake or accident, as the anticipated testimonies will address identical efforts to fabricate sonograms, claims of twins, failure to seek regular care, different types. The alleged abortion that resulted in the quote-unquote loss of one, but not both fetuses, in both the Gillespie and the Mydrop matters. Which is crazy. I mean, when you think about that, it's noted here. The absence of mistake, or the absent of mistake, is also with prior action and exemplified in Laura's testimony. She has been actively being seen by Doctors Higley and McCool for high-risk twin pregnancy, who have since confirmed she was never seen by them for pregnancy. I'll get the rest just a second. You got this for me? Thank you. Is this for me or for you?
Me.
Oh, I thought that was for me. I knew it was for you. I was just kidding. Here you go. Here you go. Here.
Sometimes I just drink the juice, so now I eat the Jello.
Yeah. Hey, was I pranking? Do I prank you a lot? Do you prank me too? Yep, exactly. Okay. Take it upstairs. Love you.
Tell you prick me.
They heard you.
You was sleeping.
Yep. I'm pranking.
Tell them you prank.
She's pointing at me. She's like, tell them you prank me.
Every time I touch you.
All right, go upstairs. I'll mess with her. She's like, when I know she's coming down. Like if I'm sitting in a chair or something, I'll pretend I'm asleep. And she'll come down to see if I'm asleep or not. She's like, tell them you prank me all the time. Oh, that's hilarious. Anyway, okay. So she said she was seen by these doctors, which have confirmed that she hadn't. It's also shown in what now appears to be the story that she miscarried. Again, Clayton, he denies ever having any, let's just say, activities there on July 23rd, 2023. But somehow her stomach was growing throughout the court hearings in October, November, when she testified being 24-week pregnant, along with Judge Galacticus and Judge Duty. Again, you see the problems there for her. Number 2, the disclosure of three prior witnesses and their expert testimony was provided under Rule 49. First, the deadline for disclosure and discovery in the case is 30 days before trial. That date, May the 10th. When is May the 10th? Oh, that's today, kids. That's right, today. And is yet to pass in any event. The identities and contact information for the 3 prior victims was provided to Laura on March 29, 2024. Again, noted, see Respondents, the second supplemental disclosure statement. Therefore, any claim of untimeliness is confounding. Second, Rule 49I was complied with. Rule 49I requires each party to, quote, disclose the names, addresses, telephone numbers of any witness with whom the disclosing party expects to call at trial, along with a statement fairly describing the substance of each witness's expected testimony. All of this was timely provided to Laura as early as the second supplemental disclosure statement provided March 29, 2024. As conceded in Laura's motion of limine, statements describing the substance of each witness's expected testimony has been provided. Laura's claim that she is in the dark about why her prior victims will testify about there is a risk of a quote-unquote trial by ambush is paradoxical. They are each claiming to be victims by our fake pregnancy con. So they're like, yeah, this isn't trial by ambush. You know exactly what's coming. You know exactly what's going to be said. Moreover, Laura has had 4 legal conflicts with her prior victims, which have all involved pregnancy claims. She has had approximately 13 attorneys. That's crazy. Beggars dozen. And involving her cases in Arizona, unknown number in California. She published Medium articles, sent quote-unquote medical evidence to journalists, and even had a TEDx talk about one of the men. She continues to, through her attorney, tweet and engage in a dialogue with public commentators, which includes her counsel bizarrely publishing the entire 2018 deposition of witness Mic Drop. Like I said, that was a problem. You notice it popped up in here. You'd have to be a complete dumbass to do what he did, and yet, thank you for making this a relevant topic. Her lawyer tweeted out and blogged about an unredacted deposition transcript from the California case. That's see Laura's granted request for judicial notice of Greg Gillespie case, where Laura's alleged that she was pregnant with Greg's twins, which she now denies, days after intercourse, and that he coaxed her into having an abortion, and that she had taken abortion pills incorrectly several times. How do you incorrectly take an abortion pill? What? What does that mean? I went home and I was going to drink it with water, but I shoved it in my ear. It got caught in my throat and I got more pregnant. I don't know. I'm wondering. Laura initiated this litigation and then repeatedly states in emails that she would abandon the litigation if Greg agreed to date her, which was not interested in. The litigation ends with neither party being awarded costs for the respective emotional damage claims, which is crazy. But that's how it is too. Welcome to a man being victim. You ain't getting shit. That's the truth. And I'm not saying, when I say that, I want you to understand something. I'm not saying that things do not happen that are terrible to women. They happen at an ungodly amount. But our system, again, if you look at laws, again, we don't have a Violence Against Persons Act, do we? No. We have a Violence Against Women's Act. Man, do you realize that until 2012, that the FBI, look this up, the FBI did not acknowledge that a man could be ARPed. The definition of that, it didn't exist. So it could not happen till 2012. Now, After she again claimed to be, well, by a female is what I mean. A man could be if there was another man, but not by a female assailant is what I mean. Now, only after she again claimed to be pregnant by yet another man after non-intercourse, and then went to the media when he rejected her, these men found one another. Each of their testimonies are independent, relevant for non-propensity purposes, and are admissible under the Act. Specifically, and despite it not yet being May 10th, 2024, Mr. Maricini's testimony is important to show her motive, intent, plan, preparation, knowledge, and absence of mistake. There was extensive litigation in San Francisco regarding these parties. Owens claimed that mic drop, she was pregnant with twins, that she miscarried, that she needed to take abortion pills, have a DNC because she had severe allergic reaction to the abortion drug, and that only one of the fetuses was terminated. Laura also allegedly told him she had ovarian cancer, that she had an ovary removed. Fabricated medical evidence support this, claimed that she had cervical cancer, and that she had Asherman's syndrome and Crohn's disease. That sucks too. I've got a really good friend of mine that has Crohn's disease, and I've got a relative. It was scary when I had like pain that, I mean, for years. That was one thing that was looked at multiple times. And Crohn's disease, it's terrible. I watched one of my best friends. I saw him during high school. He had a Crohn's disease, and it took him from like an average weight to almost nothing at all. And he would go to the hospital all the time and get checked out. And one time, the last time he had to go before like a very extensive surgery, he almost didn't go because during that, pain stopped. And that's because, it finally ruptured his intestines. So the pain, of that going through that process ended. And if he wouldn't have been there, he would have died. So these claims, that she's making. Laura, after seemingly realizing that Maricini provided relevant information in the instant litigation, has since claimed that the medical records that he provided, disclosed to Laura, were fabricated. Ostensibly, he was distressed by Laura via counsel, posting the 2018 deposition and blogging about him being a liar and 100% fraud, which led him to surrender his laptop to a San Francisco-based computer forensic expert that says expect. You will find typos, by the way. That is not the end-all be-all, by the way. Like, his record actually is really good. You very rarely find that. He has so few typos that finding a typo is actually kind of rare. It's like finding a unicorn so far, Exhibit 2. Mr. Berryhill analyzed thousands of pages of text messages and medical records communicated between Laura and mic drop and determined all of them came from Laura. All of it. That's what that says. Meaning, Laura appears to be continuing to commit perjury by filing affidavits that disclaim text and medical records that she sent. It's no wonder she did not want mic drop addressing the intent, motive, knowledge, absence of mistake, and preparation, despite testimony being admissible under the rules. Now, as for Mr. Gillespie, this court has already taken judicial notice of his court case, and Laura is therefore very aware of his anticipated testimony, which is expected to be about Laura's motive, intent, plan, preparation, knowledge, and absence of mistake. He keeps drilling this because, again, there's a legal reason for that. You keep pointing that out legally. There's specific. If you see something repeated in court documents, legal foundation for it. As provided in the supplemental disclosure statement, Gillespie will likely testify as to the, quote, his personal knowledge of petitioner's false allegation that she was pregnant with his twins, the allegation that he doctored ultrasound images that petitioner shared with the media, and the communications he's had with petitioner regarding the alleged pregnancy, unquote. He's anticipated to testify about his belief that Laura was never pregnant by him, that she told him that she was pregnant by him with quote-unquote twins days after intercourse, that she only showed him HCG tests. She claimed she erred in the abortion medication process, resulting in losing one of the quote-unquote twin fetuses, and that Laura sent him fabricated sonograms. At least one of these sonograms, there were 2 to 3 in the Gillespie case, appears to have been taken from a blog of a woman who was actually pregnant, who was actually pregnant with twins and tragically lost one due to vanishing twin syndrome. Now, the footnote, witness as disclosed, indicated that one of Owens' sonograms was from her lost pregnancy as reported, an image copied from a medical journal article and blog about vanishing twin syndrome. Now, Mr. MM, Mr. MM. Now, the witness name is not being used in public filing as he, upon information and belief, is unhappy with the publicity Laura and her counsel have stirred up, which included him being publicly doxxed by Laura through counsel over Twitter and his blog. Like I said, that is so messed up. Because again, while people were looking for this information, that name did come up. But everyone else respected the fact that he was a victim. And no matter what anyone else thought about whether or not he should say something about this, no matter anyone's personal belief, they respected that. Because you don't do that. And her counsel, they brought him up multiple times. They brought him into the case. He would not have testified before that. Laura made this happen. Just to say. She definitely made this happen. She's expected to testify about, we know all of that, based on personal experience, per Clayton's supplemental disclosure. He's expected to testify her prior actions with a petitioner, including his personal knowledge about her alleged fabricated pregnancy back in 2014 in San Francisco. This is also consistent with proof of, we've gone through the proof, everything that's required there, that's notably. The existence of MM only came to light after Laura testified about him during her deposition. She brought him up. She made that happen. I think that's a big one, you know. I think that's a big screw up on her part. Oral argument is an unnecessary delay tactic. This is a bench trial, and all proffered testimony is admissible under the rule for non-propensity purposes. Of course, for counsel, the larger issue will be time management at trial, but the testimony regarding, again, proof, etc., again, her not thinking that she was pregnant. That's what they're proving here. They're proving that, this wasn't just a mistake. She didn't think this happened, and then when she got into the courtroom, she found out, I lost a child. No. You're saying this was pre-planned. And you can tell because of all these other cases. Should take only a handful of minutes per witness, and the tangible evidence support their testimony will be available for the court's review. In any event, Laura, via her counsel's blog, has already determined that if the court finds in Clayton's favor, it'll be a mistake, as there is, not, any chance in hell the judge will say Laura had no reason to think she was pregnant when the case is filed, unquote. This statement, standing alone, supports admitting the evidence Laura seeks to preclude because the evidence will directly impeach the proffered, quote-unquote, reasonableness and, quote-unquote, sincerity of her beliefs with substantial proof of knowledge and lack of mistakes. Again, her own lawyer, his big-ass mouth is what's causing problems. Isn't that fascinating? Oops, I missed footnote. Where the hell is 9? There's 9. Okay, so the mistake, that was the statement there. Laura appeared to be convinced that the standard is whether Laura reasonably believed she was pregnant by Clayton when she filed her petition in August. See, that's what they're, again, her standard they're going with, so they're saying we can knock that down. Laura's counsel stating in response to quote-unquote Paul, that is to a commenter, it is always possible the judge could still rule in Clayton's favor. I don't see any basis for this, but judges are human beings, and sometimes they make mistakes. I don't think I see no way the judge could sanction Laura for filing the case in bad faith, and I see no way she could be sanctioned for failing to withdraw the case sooner. Notably, this is after counsel received the records from Planned Parenthood that showed Laura had not been seen there on any date for any ultrasound pertaining to alleged pregnancy, contrary to her testimony in the court proceeding, deposition, and statements in her affidavit from her medical expert. So, it's like, hey, you already knew all of this stuff, and yet there is no cause under Rule 404 to preclude 3 witnesses from testifying. So, that is this filing. Here again, you get your verification, and then we get to the evidentiary pieces. Let me pull those up too. I want to add those in here. The exhibits. 1 second. So we have our exhibits here, and you notice who's spotlighted throughout exhibits. It's her lawyer. So here. One theme in Owens versus Echard is Laura, quote-unquote, lied about being pregnant with other men. Laura says it's 100% false, and several bloggers claim she's lying. I'm about to provide some receipts you haven't seen, which may change your mind about who to believe. Coming later today. So, you see that post there. And by the way, Mic Drop is one of the alleged ex-boyfriends who certain bloggers have cited as, quote-unquote, proof Laura faked pregnancies in the past. And here he is under oath saying he did believe she was pregnant. And by the way, she was never pregnant twice with him. And this, by the way, is his deposition, which he drops. He drops that out there. And again, I have trouble believing that he couldn't read a couple of sentences down from where he pointed out that say and point out point blank that, hey, there's a problem here with everything she's saying. So indeed. Man, thank you all you folks too. I do appreciate. I've seen super chat. I'll hit them all, but I appreciate. Man, I don't mention any kind of craziness that goes on without a need. You know, I mean, if I mention something, I try to always say, "Hey, yo," that. But this, like, again. These days, I mean, it's been a rough few days, so I appreciate it. Anyway, that hit me in the feels for a second. Professional, no feelings. Professional, not loud feelings. Professional. No, it hit me in the feels for a second. Anyway, here we go. Post David Gingras. This is going to require a full blog post to explain, but certain bloggers are already publishing more lies about Laura. So I'll share this without full context. I'll explain later why this guarantees a win for Laura. So you can see that entire deposition that he decided to post. He put it a blog up too. Let's talk about lies. I haven't read the blog, by the way. We will read this in live stream because I thought this would be good to, he complained, his major complaint had been this: we don't go over his documentation. And it's like, nah, we have indeed gone over that. That's the thing he's going to quote unquote sue us all into nothing because of, right? So, yeah. So, A while ago, I posted, no, I'm not going to read all this. I'm going to skip it over, but you can see the blog post. I'll read this in its entirety in its own stream because it's long. But I want you to understand what he's doing here. And you can see all of the documentation that he put up. He had pictures. It makes them creepy when they come up in black and white there. But he put up pictures. Again, they don't want them to testify, and yet they put all of this up. I really want you to drink that in. I mean, that's why I'm not just skipping over the pages there. Then you had the declaration. Well, no, the declaration's not very long. Let's hit this page here. This isn't very much. Declaration of Laura Owens. So she says, oh, this is all true. History of relationship with mic drop. They were both romantically involved. Contrary to what he alleges in declaration, 22nd, 2018, we did not stop dating in March 2017. I met him in March 2016 through The League, a dating app for professionals that matches people together based on their LinkedIn and Facebook profiles. His profile said he was a real estate developer, and he went to California Polytechnic Institute. He asked me out to dinner and I accepted. Initially, he was charming. In the early months of our relationships, we saw each other often, had a lot in common. Mic drop showed interest. I keep calling him that because him going out there is indeed a mic drop. So she says, I'm the CEO of Quartet Farms, a company that buys and sells show horses. He talked about his own career ambitions, said he was a real estate developer, had his real estate license. He also frequently talked about his many job offers, big development firms. I wanted to be with someone who was career-oriented like I am, thought we were a good match. We loved animals, animal welfare, which he claimed to be deeply about. He also talked about his alleged relationship with celebrities. You see where she builds this whole thing about him being a liar. And what's crazy, I did a whole live stream reading about this stuff, okay? Now, she brings up, this idea, like, listen to the first allegation of violence. In or around late May or June 2016, I was asleep when I was suddenly struck in the face by Mike. I don't know exactly how he hit me. It was either his elbow or fist hit near my eye. I can't say for sure, but I believe he may have been asleep or involuntarily hit me somehow. I had a black eye for a day after this. One of my friends told me one of his ex-girlfriends also woke up with a black eye because he accidentally hit her with sleep. So you see how this is framed. And again, it goes through all these allegations. But what it comes to, he has another woman in his life. Again, I don't know if they were dating or whatever. I don't remember it being very specific about that. But they break up. He blocks her out of life. But his sister still lives in the area, very close to where she lives. So she sees him around. She finds out about this other person. She ends up going to her social media and writing all this stuff in a message to her. So he ends up calling the police. This is said in her, again, I'm paraphrasing. So when the police come, she says that they asked about her claims of DV. And they help her go in and set up a protective order, which she ends up calling about the next day and setting up, It's crazy. So essentially, she was accused of stalking. And instead of the police looking at her as a stalker, they decided that somehow these claims that she was making, without any evidence, mind you, they were somehow legit. I mean, it's nuts, right? There's more of you can see the posts, you can see the commentary, which comes in, which is actually which I think is funny. I think some of these are really funny. Like, listen, actually. Mike is way too good looking for her horse face. That's it. Also, he never abused her. He just didn't want to date her because she's ugly. I mean, that's in a court record now. Please don't insult her appearance. First of all, she's not really unattractive. You're saying that to be mean. Second, it does nothing to help Clayton's case, which somebody notes. You can see, like, when people are mean, Other people are like, yo, wait, that doesn't help at all. So don't do that. I find all the filings and discussion interesting, which is why I read here. I don't believe Laura was pregnant either, but it takes a tremendously low amount of self-restraint to still be a decent human being. Honestly, I don't think that if you're going to be picky about it, I don't think anybody should be commenting, but the comments, they also picked up comments from him. So they did work out in a positive. I think you have to be very careful with the amount of commentary, because this commentary, you saw in the protective order how commentary by random people out there was utilized to go after Clayton. Because, I mean, it's amazing. Like, your free speech to comment on something that her lawyer is posting. So they're posting all of this stuff. You posting whatever. You're not obligated to nicety under that, by the way. You're not. You don't have to be nice. But not being nice was utilized against Clayton Echard. So you got to be careful about that stuff. But did commentary work out? Yes, he actually did comment to some of this stuff, you know? And he's telling you too, you know, his threats. You can absolutely have an opinion. Oh, that's 100% protected by the First Amendment. Knowingly spreading false information is not protected. Knowingly spreading false information, which I believe David Gingras is doing, by the way, which is fascinating, isn't it? First Amendment lawyer is saying, I can have an opinion on this. He's just trying to say that I'm knowingly, like other people, you know, many of us, we are knowingly spreading. And it's like, no, I very much believe in what I say about this case. Very much. But I've been nice enough to put in his statements too. But then he's like, it's fine though. They'll have their day in court. And I'm sure I saw it on Reddit will be a strong defense for the jury. You know, again, threats. But his answering, because he's thin-skinned as fuck, he throws all this stuff out there. And when he comments, I mean, it's his problem. So, you get the computer forensic statement, too, which I did not have a chance to read the other day. He goes through background, telling you exactly, you know, a lot of background, talking about the cases he's been part of, you know, who he's testified with, then the evidence. You know, on May 4th, 2014, he tells you about the computer, what it is. It was hand-delivered by mic drop to his office. The computer was released to him on the 6th of May with a recommendation that remain out of service and securely stored until the conclusion of any pending or potential litigation. So he should keep that there in case there's more litigation, just to know. Then tells you how it was analyzed, and then the findings. All text messages, associated attachments from or to Laura Owens were tagged and produced in a standard report. You know, he's telling you how that's set up. Did that. And when he goes through, he's saying, look, you know, I went through this. In no case did I find any evidence that contradicts the narrative that she sent things, he sent back, and so on. You know, again, this stuff is legit. Then we have another blog. You know, let me roll, because again, we have we have all the declaration items. Is this repeating? Is this actually just repeating items? I'm looking to see. I'm trying to see if there's anything. Yeah, I think it's just repeating items. I think it was attached twice there. But it gives you an idea of what's there. I mean, again, I think this is going to be a crazy one that rolls in. Let me hit these super chats here. Like I said, I appreciate you folks too. Clicker AK, thanks for the 5. Despite the odds, glad y'all are safe. Thank you. Love your streams and you and Meg together. Thanks for just being awesome. Indeed, I like streaming with very few people, to be honest. There are some, I mean, I like people, but I just don't stream with a lot of people. But I enjoy streaming with Megan. She's got a certain type of comedy style that works, you know, and we just cut loose and have fun. I think that's really good. I think it's a lot of fun that way. Tanya, thanks for the 5. Towards your storm fun. Thank you. Thank you. Cretia, thanks for the 20 there. Tree fun. Much love, Tug. Thank you. Appreciate that. Bad vibes. Thanks for 20. An umbrella fams needs a bigger umbrella. I need to take, you know, what's crazy is the trampoline, it folded up. It looked more like we had a tent. Like I said, the trampoline was so messed up, just to give you this idea. When I looked out, it was on one side of the house, like all the way over on another tree line, you know, because it had been moved so we could mow. It had to be moved out of the way. It didn't get put back because I think it was the day before. I think it was the day before all of the storms. We just hadn't had a chance to move it in. So it's as far away as you can get, which is a pretty far away. It ends up not only across, but it ends up wrapped around a tree. And when I looked out, I thought, what is that thing? It looked like a tent, but it was too big to be a tent. I was like, man, that thing is humongous. I thought, what is that, a piece of a building or something? And no, it wasn't. So it was just crazy, you know, but it looked like a giant umbrella, or half one. The trampoline's uncle in Montana. Shit. It's hilarious. Thanks for the tip. Oh, you must worry about the poor trampoline. Sad to see my nephew wrapped around a tree. Poor trampoline's uncle. I know. We're going to have services for the trampoline. I'm sorry for your loss. That's hilarious. Julie, thanks for the 20. Sorry you've had damage. I live near Lynchburg. I was in my storm shelter for 2 hours. Love the lives. Thank you. Yeah, usually we're like a pocket. We have, you know, mountain areas that surround here and there, and usually storms will ring the mountains, so we don't end up with stuff. You know, it ends up on the other side. So it was crazy to have there. The so on. Thanks for the 2. For the toe babies. Oh, those toe babies. Shannon O'Brien, thanks for the 2. Would PayPal donations go around YouTube deductions? Yes, they do indeed. They do. I'll look over there too. They do. K-Rap, thanks for the 20 there. Glad everyone's okay for the girls. Thank you. Like the kids were very mad. Like the little one was really mad because if you turn off the lights, you know how dark it is. The one thing I like about power outages is how dark it is. There's nothing. It's just an absence of light, true dark. But she hasn't seen that very often. She didn't like it at all, you know. So, man. But got them together. Oh, man. What's up, Ray? Thanks for the 8 there. Hey, Tug. Can I build a trampoline page on your site where folks can donate to? Just save the YouTube cuts, LOL. I mean, we could put up like just a link or something. I don't really want to be like, yo, save the. If you like what we do here, like I said, this currently is a job and it's crazy, you know. And I've been budgeting very well, but man, when you eat thousands and thousands of dollars, it's just nuts. Whew. So. You know, like I said, I appreciate people with that. Terry, thanks for the 2 months there. Is your toe twins, the tonsil twins cousins? How did you find out? Liz, thanks for the 22 months. Getting the love and the smiles. Thank you, Liz, by the way. Appreciate you. The trampoline's uncle? Oh, man. Thanks for the 5. I hope you bounce back soon. Oh. Sounds like a joke I'd tell my kids. That's hilarious. Rear ride, thanks for the 5. You need a rocket pop for that toe. Hashtag yikes even, right? I know. Like, what's bad? The worst I've ever broken that toe. So one time this was horrible. But this shows, like, I've broke my toes enough. And I know, like, if you go to unless it's a big toe. If you break a big toe, you're just out of luck. You know, you're going to go to the doctor. But otherwise, you're just going to tape it up most of the time. So I was walking down some steps that we have, and there's a cast iron rail on it. Well, I slipped on one of the steps, and when I did, that same freaking toe caught that cast iron rail. And I looked down and my foot's straight, but my toe's sticking out to the side. I was like, oh my God. I was like, yeah, I think that's broken. You know, I swelled like a water balloon. So that I ended up, I was like, well, I wonder if I could push it back over and make it sit straight again. So I did. I was like, ugh. Got over it, and it was not fun. I thought, well, maybe it's dislocation, but no, it was broken up. I could feel it in two places. But tape it up like it is now and go about your business. Bad Slave. Thanks for the 20 there. Super sticker. Thank you, man. Appreciate you. Colorado Canadian, thanks, Vive, for a new umbrella. That's what I need. I need more umbrellas. I have quite a few umbrellas, by the way. I really do. All the kids have their own umbrella. I have 3 different umbrellas that could be mine. I have the, the large, very large one that could cover everybody. I could probably put 6 of you underneath it with me. Then I have like a regular one for me. I probably get a kid beside. Then I have a personal umbrella, if the kids aren't with me. So, yeah, I have a little umbrella addiction. Bethany, thanks for 10. Glad y'all are safe for the storm damage. Thank you. Yeah, I made light of it, but it was scary. My daughter, it was sad. My oldest, I got my phone. She was texting my mom, and she was like, I'm scared of this storm. She calls her Gigi, grandma, but Gigi. She's like, I'm scared of this storm, Gigi. She kept asking me about tornadoes, and I was like, hey, you're fine. She was like, but what if it hits? I was like, well, we're in the safest place in the house. And, worrying about it's not going to stop anything. Because she kept going back to I kept telling her, it's going to be fine, it's going to be fine. But, you can't stop if it happens, well, you prevent getting hurt. That's what I was trying to tell her. So, Lori, thanks for the 20 there. Storm damage, thank you. Thank you. Heather, thanks for the 10 there. Glad everyone is good and safe. Hit the like to help Tug. Yes, indeed. If you want to like, share, all that good stuff too. I don't push that so much. I just, hopefully, like if you like something, you like, share, all of that. And when, you folks, you really, like, you do a lot. So, I appreciate you just being here, and sharing and stuff. That's why I don't bring it up all the time. But yeah, it does help, get us out to everybody. David, thanks for the 5. Something, petrol generator fund. So hopefully you can run your streams through a storm or use it for a new trampoline or chainsaw. Yeah, I've got to get a new generator set up. I was honestly thinking what I needed to do, I could have switched over. I need to get a better microphone that connects to a phone, or figure out how to run my phone into my computer when there's no service, so I can use my microphone. Because I could have continued to live stream. I wouldn't have cared. The kids would have had fun. It would have been a good distraction. We could have had a live stream that night, and, they would have been well distracted. So that might have been good. John, thanks for that. I've seen Nate's recent video of 2 different women who hit themselves to frame men. Interesting stuff. Yeah, I'll have to check the video out. There's been plenty of cases like that. It's crazy. We've gotten to the point where, again, people realize, there's always this deflection point where people say, well, that doesn't happen that often. There's an admitted, and this is admitted, 2 to 10% of cases. Now, if you go with 10%, you're talking about tens of thousands of cases that are potentially false. That's a lot. We're not talking about writing off 1 or 2 people. We're talking about writing off, best case scenario, thousands. Worst case scenario, tens of thousands. And that doesn't include all the ones that aren't reported, because you have to be able to prove they're false, of course. So don't just count anything that's dismissed as a false case. So yeah, I'll check that out, but it's crazy. Montana Bow Lady, thanks for the 23 months. The angel there. Hashtag. I'm going to do the hey there. Hey there. Fun times indeed. Indeed. Kelly, thanks for the 20 there. My friend Courtney and I help with paperwork for the producers, etc. Took a girl to Dr. Phil for doing this multiple times, multiple men. He Here's a highlight. There are 2 episodes in. Send that to my email. That's granularheaven@gmail.com. You can find that on my about page. Stuff like that I'm fascinated by. Like I said, I'd like to see that. So send that over, like the link to it. I think that would be a good discussion. And Vanessa, thanks for the fun there. Happy birthday to Laura B. Yes, give love to Laura B. Again, Laura B., I appreciate the heck out of you. Laura's in almost every stream, all the time, helping out again. Just here and appreciate it very much so. Thank you. She goes to bed soon in her time zone. Well, afterwards, we'll give her some love there too. Nika, thanks for 15 months. Hey, I have thinking, should I change my Emily K? So you say my, yeah, so it's Emily K. Other name is Finnish. Yeah, well, if your name is like Emily K, yeah, I would be more likely to get that right. If I butcher your name, like Rhea Raya becomes a joke, like that's an in joke with a person because I butchered a name so much. I just call you all the names that I butcher. I might still call you the name I butchered before, especially after I get to know that I messed up your name. Creasy, thank you for the 20 there. Enjoyed meeting you, Tug. My husband, Tennessee guy. On first date from Tennessee. Look out for the women, children, and animals. Indeed. Indeed. Truly all the best. Thank you. Hey, thank you for that. Yes, indeed. It's amazing. I've lived in other places, but I love Tennessee. I love the wildlife out here and everything. It's great. Allison, thank you. Welcome. Thank you for your membership. Welcome to Tug's Thugs. Appreciate you. Thank you. Heather, thanks for the 5 there. If he decides to call, he needs the FBI to listen and record it. Yeah, you're talking about mic drop. Yes, indeed. Indeed. For sure. Cindy, thanks for the 18 months. If I could stop playing my games long enough to realize you're alive. I get on a game kick sometimes. Actually, I watched, I like the movie The Gentleman, Guy Ritchie. I didn't realize that the Netflix show The Gentleman was with Guy Ritchie. I didn't, I thought maybe it's a continuation in some way, but I didn't realize that was connected. So when I finally got power back, I sat down for a minute. I was like, oh my God, I'm just going to turn my brain off for a hot minute. And that's where I went. So I get you, and some games get me, especially if it's a good horror game. Elizabeth, thank you. Welcome. Thank you for your membership. Welcome to Tug's Thugs. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. Jennifer, thanks for the 7 there. I've decided that MM's new theme song should be about Kid Rock. I think we should think about theme songs for all of these people. What would their theme? What would be David's? And so what? I'm curious. John, thanks for the 2. Pirate Sonograms. Sounds like a record label. It does, actually. It does indeed. How did you say that? Did you buy the new KMFDM album from Pirate Sonograms? You're like, yeah. K McBizrunner, thank you. $100 super chat. There's no statement attached to that, but there's plenty of statement there. Thank you very much. Thank you. Appreciate you. Very, very much. Thank you. Wow, it's crazy. I appreciate all of it, like I said. The DCV Titan, thanks for the 10. After a quick look at the Javak's Peel on Planned Parenthood site, oh yeah, the facts about it, yeah. It looks like the 2 drugs, a total of 5 pills, and a procedure so simple you have to have issues not to perform properly. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. How do you do that wrong? She's like, I couldn't manage to do this on my own. Like, how do you do that? How do you have that problem? T's T. Thanks for the 100 there. Tug's toe tips. only toes. That's when I'm going to open up my own. You know, you want me to tell you a sad thing about OnlyFans? So I saw a YouTuber. You may not know him, so you know his name isn't relevant, but he's a heavier set guy, a very heavy set guy, and he put together an OnlyFans as a joke. Well, he made about $100 on there, okay, and he got an email telling him that he was in the top 20% of earners. And I thought, man, that's sad. You know, the reality is like the top 20%. He was like 16th percentile, and he had made under $100. I thought that was crazy. So we'll make those only toes jokes. Isn't that crazy? There, thank you for the 25 there. Help the cause. Thank you. Thank you. Like I said, thank all of you. Appreciate you. Thank you, dear. Celine, thank you. Welcome. Thank you for the membership. Welcome to Tugs Thugs. Thank you. Appreciate you. I love saying that over and over again, by the way. I get to get out my announcer voice. K-Rap, thanks for the vibe. Tug, you've been there for us, giving your holidays and hours upon hours of your time. Of course, we're there for you and your time of need. You know, anytime I've ever had a need, I had a need way back when. I remember I had a computer give out on me. And I was like, what am I supposed to do with that? And man, I mean, that was wild. People helped with modification. And I mean, it was crazy. I couldn't believe that. That was a long time ago. I was back in like 2018, I think. But still, so crazy. Her Schmitten, thanks for the 11 there for the Restore Fund. Success to you, Tongue and fam. Greetings to all. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Heather, thanks for Vive. Her family should be charged with abuse on her and her victims. They're so repugnant, absurd. Get your daughter the help she needs. You know, I've heard a lot with her family. It's such a weird place to be. Like, if you truly, you know, of course she needs to, she obviously, if she's talking about SI and this, she needs to go somewhere. And it doesn't need to be voluntary where she can just check herself out after a day. You know, she needs to have to stay to address issues. I very well agree. It's got to be such a weird place. Like, I can't imagine kids. I can't imagine a circumstance of my kids where I'm putting something like that. It'd be horrible. Laura, thanks for the 6 there. Remember to unblock Carol and Kay. Yeah, I would look for the name. I couldn't find the name on the list. I'll look again, but I couldn't find it. When I did look, I looked when it was brought up, and I didn't see it there. But the way YouTube lists blocks, like no matter what, it just jumbles them all up. It doesn't put them in a time order or a name order, so they're missable. So I'll check it again. Sure. And thanks for the birthday wishes too. Hey, I appreciate you for real. Thank you. Clicka, what's up, Clicka? Thanks for the 2. Looking forward to being fellow Tennessean soon, huh? Well, that's awesome there. Yeah, it's especially if you don't move to Nashville. That would be well, I mean, if you have business there and you want to pay the rates, or if you want to pay the rates of a Murfreesboro, then that's your business. If you're in this area, you could be in another area too. But I mean, that's my area. But if you live like 20 minutes out of these areas, man, it is definitely a big difference. You know, the costs keep getting driven up in areas like Nashville, but some of the more remote areas it's a lot nicer. And you can get land and everything else around stuff. So, Tracy, thanks. 20 there. Buy Bug a headlamp. Indeed, we actually had one and a while back, and she broke the band on it. So I need to get her one for like kids that can survive. I had one that I'd had for years as a sample, so that's actually a very good thing. Appreciate that. Jay, thanks for the 2 there. How is Miss Tongue? Wishing you and your family safety. Well, that's not a... it's not a the kids and I are doing very well. We'll say that. Cindy, thanks for the 5. Love listening to you and Megan. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, like I said, I enjoy broadcasting with Megan. And thank you, Jay, by the way. And thank you, Cindy, too. Yeah, I enjoy my live stream with her. It's good. If I have a weird off day or something, I can always know I'm going to get online and cut up. Susan, thanks for 20 there. For the torn candy supply. Be prepared, indeed. You know, we had somebody gave us a bag. I'm talking about like it's a paper bag, but it's as tall as, like, if you were to take one of those Walmart bags and fill it to the top, like it's solid, and fill it all the way to bursting. Someone gave us a bag of Hershey's Kisses like that. So the kids have man, I've seen so many Hershey Kisses, though. I think everybody's like, I've never seen so many Hershey Kisses in my life. Yeah. Here's Mud. Thanks for that. Terrible timing, but I emailed you. I'll have to check it. I have not been in my email the last few days for a reason, and I haven't caught up everything because we've been out, just trying to clean up the absolute mess. I've posted a few times on Twitter. Basically, lets people, it notes, here's Dan, but it also is like, hey, we're still alive, because people do message and ask. So, hey, Sherry, I saw that super sticker come up, by the way. Thank you. $50 super sticker. It's still up there, actually. I saw that come in. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. Thank you. Susan, thanks for the 10. Storm candy. Must have stress candy. I needed bubble gum is what I needed. I need to supply like bubble tape. That's what the kids are always like. You remember bubble tape when you were a kid? Or there's another thing. So there's a store in Murfreesboro. I have to go up there about once a month, and they sell candied cigarettes. It's it's such a strange thing. I thought those things had been they didn't make those anymore. But bubble tape, that's what the kids like. Hey, Kelly, thanks for that. Can you tell me your email? I don't see it. Yeah, it's 2 words shoved together. So it's granular, like a grain of sand, GRANULAR. And then the other word, heaven, HEAVEN. Why that? I don't remember. I don't remember why. It's been years and years. But you're stuck with it once you make it. But it's granularheaven@gmail.com. 2 words. Like I said, why, I don't know. Crystal Love, thank you for the 10 there. I love the true silence that comes with a power outage. Yes, indeed. You don't realize all the little things. They're constantly humming, ticking, buzzing. Good luck with the recovery process. Yeah, see, I love that's one thing, like with the storm, when you get to the quieter part, it's suppressed all the insect sounds that are outside too. So out here, I mean, we get, you're going to get insects and other stuff. But yeah, there's a true silence. Now that night, the other night, we didn't really get the true silence part of it. It was, again, hours and hours. We moved, because at every 8 to, I think, 12 minutes, we were moving half of a 3 gallon garbage can full of water. That's how much water we had leaking in. So, that was nuts. We'd gone from when it started, it was about that much in the first hour because it was just dropping so much water. We developed like a terrible leak to it coming in so fast. Like I had to wake up the oldest and be like, I need your help because I can't do this on my own. I can't see. I need somebody to help me with light and everything else. And again, if we wouldn't have done that constantly, we'd have had a real problem. We'd have had real destruction. We'd have been talking, I can imagine tens of thousands of dollars in destruction that way. So Luckily we're here, but I'm going to have people come out and look at all that. Oh, I'm dreading that. Oh, dreading that. Like I said, I look at the positives, but man, I'm dreading that. John, thanks for the 5. I'm an electrician. And one time I was watching on an electrician's channel who said they made OnlyFans. They learned a main one with only fans. That's hilarious. They made they only showcased fans. That's funny. That's actually really funny. Emma, thanks for the 5. I'm in South Australia, so I've never experienced a tornado. Oh, that's scary. I had, when I was a kid, the first tornado I ever saw it in Tennessee. They're rarer here. Actually, I've only had one earthquake ever in this area because they just don't happen, you know. But there was one time, and it scared the crap out of me. I was having a weird dream. I don't remember what it was. A horror dream. And we had just found a well ringer in the back. If you ever watched the movie The Ring, you know, the big stone topper that the ring, like the whales have on top of them, you know, those are real. So we'd found one out. We moved it around. Well, anyway, I was having this weird horror dream about the whale that was over there. And this earthquake hit, and you know, your dream blurs into reality. I was like, oh my God, something's coming out of that whale. My mind, that's all it could compute when it hit, because there was no way I would have ever thought of earthquake. So, but anyway, I saw a tornado when I was a little kid. It was such a strange time. My grandparents used to live off of a river. You'd go behind their house, and you had a little bit of incline, but then it dropped down. You know, there's like a river cut out, and it was fun. We'd go out there and we'd fish and, you know, put a boat in, just whatever, you know, like aluminum boat, not a power boat or anything, but aluminum boat with a little motor, run around, fish, whatever. But one time we had a huge storm come in. My grandma, she was terrified of storms, terrified of them. She was always terrified. And I used to think, oh, you know, she's just being silly with it, until this one time tornado hits. So I was watching that river, and down the river I saw a spiral start toward it. It's like a wind pushing down toward the water, and then it started sucking water up toward it. So it was a spiral of water just rolling the river's course. And it wasn't huge, but it rolled down until it hit a tree really close to my grandparents' house, and it dropped it. Oh man, it missed their house proper by a couple of feet, maybe. It was not, but it was wild to see. And then when I moved to Oklahoma, I saw a real tornado once, like one of those tears just parts of towns just asunder. I saw one of those, and that was not. Whew. I mean, Oklahoma's flat, you know, so you can see stuff coming for miles and miles. I unfortunately lived in Oklahoma City, and it smells there's a Air Force base there, and they have a lot of experimental jets, and it stinks of jet fuel. You get within a couple of miles of it, and your eyes burn. It's just a horrible, horrible thing. But the one thing I saw out there was that, and just some oddities. I mean, it wasn't a bad place or anything, but it was crazy to see that kind of level of tornado. John, thanks for the vibe. Because my wife is black, I sometimes buy her novelty Hershey Kisses. This is an inside joke. Bought her one once that was like $20. It was a pound. That's funny. Inside jokes are the best kind, too. Sandy Nichols, thanks for the 22 months. Have you posted my P.O. I forgot to write you back about that. Yes, I've got my P.O. box. I haven't posted it. I've got to get let me pull up the place address. I do have it. Post office. I've got to get the zip code near me. Just give me 1 minute. It's very close. Smart station. There it is. Yeah, give me 1 minute. I do have it. I'll tell it to you. If I get this stupid thing to go off. You ever have like your phone get stuck when you're pulling something up? That's what I just had there. Yeah, it's P.O. Box 151. Here, I'm going to type this in. Okay. It's P.O. Box. Sorry about that. It slipped my mind. It's P.O. Box 151. That's it. That's on 15. I'm going to give the highway too, okay? I know I'm saying this live. Just give me a second. Chester Highway. That's it. It's in the area called Smart, Tennessee. Smart. It's like it's amazing that there's one that close to me. 37, what was the address? Give me 1 minute. 3738. I'm not used to that zip code. So here's the, you can address it to That Umbrella Guy or Tug or whatever. I just posted it there. So I had to post it in StreamYards. My phone is being stupid today. Apologies. But yeah, I appreciate you asking. And like I said, I meant to write you back about that. I just, no excuse. I just forgot. Thank you. And it's a Ventus, phonetically decoratus Ventus. I like you put the phonetically. Thank you for the 5 there. Wish I could help more, but thank you for bringing the world the truth, 100%. Hey, thank you. You know, again, you being here is help. Thank you. Appreciate you. And Iron Rabbit, thanks for the 20 there. You need some headlamps and a sump pump with a hose. Kansas teaches hard lessons. I need to look into the pump types. I've never had to do something like that. I've never had to pump out water. Well, I take that back. So my mom lived at a house at one time that it would flood in a basement, and we'd have to go in there, and we'd have to take like we'd have to take a kind of a home rigged setup and pump water out of it, but never anything bought for that exact purpose. So I need to look into that too. I never thought I'd need something like that. There were also, there were a few that came through PayPal. I'll use your initials. I will not dox you, of course. SM, $50. Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you, SM. Also, MN sent 25 there. Thank you. MG sent 10. I'm looking to see if it says trampoline money. You can have messages on there too. CM sent 5. Thank you, CM. CN sent 50 there. Said I've had storm damage before, being rural. Neighbors help neighbors. Yes, indeed. I spent... So the tree that we had down, I don't know if it's my neighbors or not. You know, here's the thing I never understood, like with cities, okay? This is something you see that, I mean, you could have bad country neighbors, but you usually don't. I don't know who that tree belongs to. Like, you could argue over, oh, is it a foot over this way or that way? Whose tree is that really? It ended, like I said, 42 feet from my house. And I'm glad, because if it went the other way, it landed on their house. But instead, it didn't hit either house. But instead, they went out, they messed with some of the branches, they cut up some. You know, we went out, we chopped on it with chainsaws, you know, cut it up. And once the ground hardens, we'll be able to move it all. Because neighbors help neighbors. That's how it should be. You know, a while back, one of my neighbors, like with a much smaller storm, had a bunch of fences blown down, you know, and tried to help them stand them all back up. I mean, that's how it should be. KP sent $100. Thank you. I found out about you, Megan, DUI guy, from watching What the Hells. Thank you. I hope this helps out a little. It does. Thank you. Bless you. You and Megan make me very happy. Well, thank you. Y'all, I mean, you all are my, this year has not been the greatest year, and I can't talk about the reason why. One day, maybe I can. But it's been a rough year in some ways. It's been a great year in some ways, and it's been a rough year in some ways. Same thing. And I can't really talk about the why. But I like doing this. It's not just a focus on cases or justice or anything, you know, the items we discuss. It's also because we have this community of individuals that come together, and no matter what's happening in any of our lives, we get to come together and we get to do something else. And I like that. I like we come together and we laugh and goof off. It's fun, you know? And we don't have to bring the real world baggage with us. JR, thanks for the 10 there. Thank you. It's techie. Hey, thank you to help pay for some damage. Thank you. And also, let me see. That's a KR. Yes, KR. Thank you for $100 sent too. Thank you. Again, I appreciate y'all. I wouldn't even mention this stuff if it were typical. Oh, you know, typically I don't like asking for help anyway. You know, usually I would rather be like, hey, we got a comic book. Let's do that. That's how I usually do everything. But this year's different. We'll be back to normal. By the way, we started our print finally, and that comic is so behind. It's had an issue, but it's printing now. It's printing 10 different versions. So that is legit and happening. Finally. It's been such a long time. Jack's mom, thanks for the 5 there. We have Hills here. East Oklahoma. My son and I, really close. To a tornado when he was young. Now he has a phobia. He's first in the shelter. Hurts to see. I mean, it's terrifying. Like I watched. I can't remember the year, but I mean there were terrible storms, and they cut through. They cut through Oklahoma City. You know, it did a lot of damage to Oklahoma City proper. I was out there then, and that was just terrifying. Terrifying. I just never seen a storm like it. Also, I can't remember that giant bridge that leads into Oklahoma. It was damaged because I had to leave. Like I was supposed to come back to Tennessee for some reason. I can't remember what. I can't remember if it was a visiting or a birthday. There was a holiday. I just can't remember. It's been too long, but it was bad enough that it damaged like a main bridge and everything. It was unreal. We don't have anything like that comparably. We may have had one in the history out here, but this was something that apparently happens every few years. And, there would be tornadoes quite a bit of the time. There was also, so this was kind of crazy. I want to note this too. I went to a park. I talked about this. I think I started to mention this on the day of the storm thing. We went to one of the public parks, and there was a picnic area. All right. And over in the picnic area, I noticed these things sticking out of the ground. I thought, what are those? Is it like a little tree growing or something? It just doesn't seem right. What are those? And the closer I got, I noticed they were, some of them were wooden and some of them were like plasticky. And the more I looked, I was like, wait a minute, those are arrows. What the heck? There are arrows sticking in the ground and in this picnic table over here. So looking around, found there was a short shrub wall. And on the other side of the shrub wall was an archery range. They had built the shrub wall too short, and for some reason, they put it on the other side, firing right at where people sit and they have picnics and stuff. I was like, man, I'm just shocked nobody's ever been killed out here, because this is insane. Oh, I mean, that was just... That was something else. There were a few things like that. And the roads there were an interesting design because, in some areas you'd have such high winds that the roads, they weren't flat. They V'd in. They'd have a high point on one side or the other, and you were kind of driving at an angle just a little bit, which was great when there was heavy winds because there were a lot of heavy winds sometimes, but it was terrible in the winter when you would get freezing rain or something. Because you'd always have freezing, you'd have rain or something pulled in the middle and it would freeze. And that was just awful. But anyway. Well, hey, I'm going to call this stream. I'll give you all updates, let you know what's happening around here. But again, I appreciate y'all. Like, I got a lot of messages, very, very nice people checking in because we lost our power that night and people knew we were having bad storms, you know, and with kids, you know, we'd have like emergency powered up flashlights, but the littlest one, you know, she'll see a flashlight and want to go play with it. So she'd unplug them. So all the emergency flashlights had been taken somewhere I couldn't find. I was like, where in the world are my... So it was a good learning lesson for me about I'm going to have to run some chargers up in a high point and keep them out of her range. You know, I didn't check it on them enough. You know, that's my fault as a parent. I should have checked. Yeah, but it was kind of funny. It was like, wait a minute. Anyway, I'm going to play a song and we are out. Appreciate you.
I like my haters like my coffee extra mad and bitter. And then they're loyal like juice, so yeah, the man's a quitter. He's strapped face up behind the platinum grill. My style faceless, just pick these mic skills. And in the street killer, I will not be denied. That I'm mic'd up, I raise my head with pride. A force of nature cruising the whip, doing walk-bys on your boulevard. Face my verbal clip. In this land of live streams, baby, I'm on the road. Got my feet on the media, scraping them up my soles. It's that umbrella guy facing the accusers. Cleated out size 14s, crushing all those losers. It's that umbrella guy, they said we couldn't make it. Never ask permission, just sense, I'll go and take it. The media buzzwords, they will never save you. Listen and believe is meant to enslave you. Challenging the hypocrites and baby, I'm on fire. They flash titles like they're royalty, but it's true that I'm a journalist. Scribble nursey rhymes, one in this grill in a basket. With a tisket and a tasket and their morals in a casket. No morals in a casket. They're always pushing make believe and weaving straw to gold. But I'm sick of all the fairy tales and buying what I'm sold. Strolling into the backyard, taking truth on tour. Baby, there is sickness, and that umbrella guy's got the cure. Look, it's that umbrella guy knocking at the door. No more ministry of truth than the plot of 1984. They're dumping all my verbal clips. The case is filled with knowledge. They're on the mic like kindergarten, and I'm taking them to college. Why the mask, baby? Cause this has to be a crime. I'm taking the mic and boom, they're in each